Drive to Survive Season 8 drops Friday. And if you haven't watched a single race this year, that's okay. Because in the next 12 minutes, we're gonna fix that.
This is not a recap video. This is your cheat sheet. Every story that's going to make you feel something when you watch it on Netflix.
And let me tell you, this season has everything. A world champion who cried on the cool-down lap. A legend who called his own season a nightmare. A king who got dethroned mid-season without warning.
And a man who waited 239 races for a single moment. 15 years. One podium. We'll get to that. Quick context before we dive in. Drive to Survive is Netflix's Formula One documentary series. It's been running since 2018, and it genuinely changed the sport. Like, changed it. Before DTS, F1 was a niche motorsport outside of Europe. After DTS, it was selling out Miami, Las Vegas, Austin. The US fan base tripled in 4 years. Each season covers one full F1 season, behind-the-scenes access, raw emotions, driver rivalries, stuff the broadcast cameras never show you. Season 8 covers the 2025 Formula One season, and the 2025 season was genuinely one of the most dramatic in the last decade. We had a new world champion after 4 years of the same guy winning. We had the biggest driver move in the history of the sport. We had a team boss fired mid-season after 20 years. And we had a moment, one specific race, that made grown adults cry. All of that is in Season 8. It drops February 27th. Here's what you need to know. Let's start with the main event. The 2025 Formula One world champion is Lando Norris. 26 years old, British, McLaren.
And if you watch Season 6 or 7, you know Lando. He's the funny one, the gamer, the guy who seems like he's always having a laugh.
Right, but this season showed a completely different side of him, because it almost didn't happen.
Wait, he's the favorite and it almost didn't happen?
He wins the first race of the year in Australia. Championship favorite, best car on the grid. Then he immediately starts making mistakes. What kind of mistakes? He crashes in qualifying in Saudi Arabia, starts from midfield. He crashes into his own teammate Oscar Piastri in Canada. He gets disqualified in Las Vegas, and by the middle of the season, his own teammate is leading the championship.
His own teammate is beating him?
Oscar Piastri, 23 years old, Australian, also in a McLaren. Same car, and for most of the season, faster.
That's a nightmare. 2 guys on the same team fighting for the championship?
It's Senna versus Prost, but make it Gen Z. And then, just when it looks like Piastri is going to win it, Norris goes on a streak. 5 wins in the second half of the season. He claws back a 34-point deficit.
34 points? That's enormous.
It goes to the final race, Abu Dhabi. 3 drivers can win the championship on the last day. Norris, Piastri, and Max Verstappen, the 4-time champion, making a late charge. First 3-way title decider in 15 years.
Okay, that's insane. So what happens?
Norris just drives a calm, clean race. He doesn't need to win, he just needs to finish 3rd. He crosses the line, he hears his engineer on the radio, he starts crying on the cool-down lap. "I thought of my mom," he said, "and then I got emotional."
I'm not gonna lie, that got me a little bit right now.
He won it 7 races to 7 races with his teammate. Both of them won exactly 7 times. 423 points, 2 points clear of Verstappen at the end. McLaren's first driver's title since Lewis Hamilton in 2008.
17 years, and it comes down to 2 points.
My honest take? This is one of the best championship stories in a decade. Lando Norris proved you don't have to be a cold-blooded machine to win. He won it by being himself, and he nearly didn't. That's the story DTS is going to tell, and it's going to be brilliant.
Before we continue, can we talk about Lewis Hamilton?
Oh, we absolutely have to, because this is the story that broke a lot of hearts in 2025.
Set it up for people who might not know. Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion, the greatest driver in the history of the sport by most measures. At the end of 2024, he makes the most shocking move in F1 history. He leaves Mercedes, the team he won 6 of his 7 titles with, and joins Ferrari. Ferrari, his childhood dream team, literally. He had a picture of a Ferrari on his wall as a kid. The Italian fans were going crazy. The whole world thought this is the storybook ending. Hamilton, Ferrari, one final title chase. And then it fell apart almost immediately. He wins a sprint race in China in March. For one weekend, it looks exactly like the fairy tale everyone imagined. Then he gets disqualified from the main race. And from that point, it just never comes back.
How bad did it get?
By the end of the year, he described 2025 as, and I'm quoting him, the worst season ever. He called it a nightmare. He told the media at one point, "I've endured 22 bad weekends." Not exaggerating. That's what he said.
22 bad weekends?
That's the whole season. He finished 6th in the championship, 86 points behind his own teammate Charles Leclerc. And here's the really brutal stat. For the first time in his entire F1 career, he didn't score a single podium in a Grand Prix. First full F1 season without a podium ever in 18 years of racing.
That's genuinely sad.
At one point, he said Ferrari should replace him. Ferrari's own chairman told him publicly to talk less and focus more on driving. That's your own boss saying that in the press.
Why, though? Why was it so bad?
The car was built without his input. He joined too late in the design process. Ferrari scrapped major suspension upgrades mid-season. They essentially gave up on 2025 by April to focus on 2026. And Hamilton, a driver who needs confidence, who needs to feel the car, was stuck with a machine that gave him nothing. But he's not done. He's still there in 2026. He's still there. New car, new regulations, fresh start. And he posted something recently that really got me. He said, "For a moment, I forgot who I was." Then he said, "You're not going to see that mindset again."
Okay, that's the kind of thing DTS was made for.
My honest take? This is one of the most human stories in Formula One history. The greatest driver alive, humbled by circumstance. Not by age, not by lack of talent, by a bad car and a bad year. I think Season 8 is going to be painful to watch and completely unmissable.
Now we need to talk about the moment that shocked everyone. July 9th, 2025. Christian Horner, the most successful team principal in modern Formula One, is fired with immediate effect, mid-season after 20 years. Wait, just like that? No warning? His own team told Sky Sports he was given no reason. Martin Brundle, one of the most respected voices in F1, confirmed Horner told him personally no reason was given. He went to the factory, said goodbye to the staff, cried. That's it. 20 years, done.
For people who need the backstory, who is Christian Horner?
He built Red Bull Racing from nothing, a brand new team in 2005, created from the old Jaguar F1 team. Nobody gave them a chance. By 2010, Sebastian Vettel wins the first of 4 consecutive world championships. Then Max Verstappen wins 4 more in a row from 2021 to 2024. Under Horner, Red Bull won 8 drivers' titles and 6 constructors' championships, 124 race wins, more than the legendary Williams team ever managed.
That's an insane legacy, so why did they fire him?
The official answer? Performance. The car wasn't winning. But the real picture is messier. In early 2024, a female employee accused him of inappropriate behavior. He was cleared twice by the parent company, but it never went away. His star designer Adrian Newey quit and went to a rival team. Other senior staff followed. Max Verstappen's father publicly called for Horner to resign. There were reports that Max Verstappen himself, the guy Horner built everything around, was in talks with Mercedes to leave. And Red Bull panicked.
So they fired the most successful team boss in modern F1 to keep their driver.
That's the theory many people believe, and he walked away with reportedly $70 to $100 million in a settlement. His contract ran until 2030. They had to buy him out.
That's a 9-figure breakup. Wild.
The DTS episode about this is literally called A Bull with No Horns. The cameras were there when he got booed at the F1 season launch in London. They were there for the aftermath. The historical parallel here? Think of Jose Mourinho at Real Madrid, the guy who built the dynasty, pushed out by the empire he created.
This is a full Greek tragedy.
My honest take? Christian Horner was a great team boss, brought down by his own decisions. The legacy is real. 8 world championships don't lie. But the last 2 years showed that even legends can become the problem, and Red Bull had to choose between the man and the machine. They chose the machine.
Okay, I want to talk about the emotional one now. because I genuinely teared up when I saw this.
Nico Hulkenberg, Silverstone, July 6th, 2025. 239 races. 0 podiums. 15 years. And then, in one wet and chaotic afternoon in England, he climbs from 19th on the grid to 3rd place. 19th to 3rd? 19th to 3rd. In the rain. He had the longest podium drought in the history of Formula One. Nobody had ever waited that many races. The record was his, and not in a good way. For people who don't know Nico, explain who he is. He's 37 years old, German, has been in F1 since 2010. He is driven for Williams, Force India, Sauber, Renault, Aston Martin, Haas. Teams that were never going to win championships. But every driver who's raced alongside him or against him says the same thing. He should have been in a top car. Carlos Sainz called him a top 5 driver every time he's been on the grid. Fernando Alonso, a 2-time champion, said he's one of the best drivers in F1 who never had the car to prove it. So this podium was 15 years of paying his dues. He started 19th in changing weather. The team calls him in perfectly for intermediate tires. He climbs through the chaos. He passes Lance Stroll for 3rd. Then, for the last 10 laps, he has Lewis Hamilton right behind him, a man who has won the British Grand Prix 9 times, in front of his home crowd, desperate for his first Ferrari podium, closing the gap. Oh no! And Hulkenberg holds him off. When he crosses the line, he says on team radio, "I don't think I can comprehend what we've just done."
I'm getting chills.
The Sauber garage, a team that was expected to finish last in 2025, starts singing. Full team arms around each other. The podium trophy? Made of Lego. He says his daughter can play with it. Oscar Piastri on the podium turns to him and says, "You can probably just buy this next week." Hulkenberg laughs and says, "A bit of silver or gold would have been nice too, but I won't complain." That man is an absolute legend. My honest take? This is why people watch Drive to Survive. Not the strategy, not the technology. This. A 37-year-old man who refused to quit, standing on a podium for the first time in his life, in the rain at Silverstone, and the entire paddock celebrating with him. That's Formula One at its absolute best.
Drive to Survive, Season 8. Netflix, February 27th. Now you are ready. Thank you for listening to Apex Intel. We'll see you next week.